Welcome to Workshop Topics. This video is all about moving my very heavy old Smart & Brown 1024 lathe out of the workshop. Some viewers may find it odd that I've started the video after we moved the lathe from its original position, and the reason for that was, in its original position there wasn't a suitable place to put the camera. I only put the camera in position once there was somewhere to put it, so I could film safely. This is my very good friend Rob Metcalf, and what does he think?
Yes, it's a beast to move, but we've moved it.
I've done quite a lot of work over the years on this machine tool. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you will realise that this is my 7 1/4 inch gauge Titch engine, which was built almost entirely using this lathe. It's a great old machine. This Smart & Brown model 1024 is a tool room lathe, and it's very rigid indeed. Look at the size of the bed. This, on the other hand, is my small Boxford lathe, and I use this for most of the videos because people are more likely to have a lathe like this than a large tool room lathe like the 1024. The Boxford is also quite old, but it works very well. It's time now for me to speak a few words of encouragement to my friend Rob.
Can you push it a bit harder? No, it's not moving.
No, it's not going to move it now.
Got any ideas?
Yeah. Use crowbar. Move like that. She's moving.
Yeah, I've got it on video, keep going. Faster.
Oh.
And inch by inch, it moves its way to the door.
Yeah. But I'm old and knackered and need a breather now and again.
Inch by inch we moved the lathe across the workshop floor, and also I had one of these. This is called a skate. But the rest of the weight was carried on lots of rollers made from steel tubing.
Watching you do all the work, Rob, is making me feel tired.
To be honest though, I did some of the barding as well. I just couldn't video and do it at the same time. But the other reason is I have a bit of back trouble, and I didn't want to stress out my back too much by doing a job like this. I moved this lathe into position when I first bought it using the same crowbar, and I did it all by myself, but then again I was 40 at the time, not 66.
Right, is that alright there?
Yeah, I think so. But the lathe wants to be pulled towards you now considerably.
At this point, Rob pulled the lathe far too much towards himself and it fell off the skate. And he was complaining about the difficulty of moving this machine. So just to cheer him up and keep the morale high, this is what I said.
When you think about this, Rob, the only problem we have is gravity. It's gravity that's doing this. It's not the size of the machine, and it's not our strength. If we were moving this on the moon, it wouldn't be an issue. It would just move. Honestly. Or if we were doing it in space, in like a space station, it would be floating about, weightless. So it's just gravity of the planet that we've got a problem with.
Yeah.
Has that convinced you? So now can you get on with pinching it from that end? Because I can't get through the door anymore.
At this point it started to look like it wasn't going to go through the door.
We need to just...
That's pretty good going.
It's got to go through at that now.
I'm really
At that
impressed.
angle.
I'm really impressed by your steering. Look at that. That's quite incredible, really. We need A cans on the job.
Sort it out, that fella.
No, because he's too weedy for this sort of a job.
Sort it out,
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome. I bought some Budweiser, but they're not cool enough for me.
Thanks very much. Cheers,
We're
mate.
not on any warm Budweisers. Here you are, Rob.
Oh, thank you very
And
much.
to further improve his morale, my daughter's partner Dan brought us some beer.
There we are.
I know that my friend Rob appears to be doing all the work, but so am I. But I just have to stop so I can operate the camera. At the moment, Rob is struggling to drink a bottle of Stella. On the other hand, I'm not. As I mentioned earlier, this is how they built the pyramids, an inch at a time. But they were younger, better looking, and a lot stronger than we are. How old are you now?
58.
How much?
58.
58.
Yeah, she's been old enough.
Only death to look forward to for you as well now.
Yeah. That's all right.
I can't help but think, as you're very thin and slim and slender and tall, and I'm very fat,
I don't
but
know
we
about
do
that.
look a little bit like Laurel and Hardy. Another fine mess you got me into, Stanley.
Yeah. With this blading thing.
Yeah. Mind you, it's better than a very cheap, small Chinese lathe. This will outlive the pair of us.
It's a hell of a, oh yeah, it's a hell of a thing, isn't it? Let's get this.
Pinch bar sequence, take 37.
Right. Done 2 rows and nail it back, so probably 2 more pinches and I'll be moving them. Ready?
Yeah.
You know.
Right, what's this lever? You need it shoving that way now. It's going to foul that side, and we don't want that lever to touch the door. So shove the whole thing like your way.
That's got a foot, hasn't it?
Go on, you're on.
Right?
Yeah.
Bastard.
Whoa, what?
Whoa. It's out.
And we've got an inch at this side, and the bit that I'm looking at on the camera, about, not much, quarter of an inch, but it's through.
It's through, yeah.
We've done it.
That's me lot.
We're through.
Wait a minute. It's through door, yeah?
Yeah.
That's it. It's good job we had the short roller.
Right, pass me a roller.
It's a short and that's all I've got.
Yeah, it'll go through here. So here's a long one.
I have time. How the hell?
What?
We're going to get this down the drive.
The drive that Rob is mentioning is the one at his house. It's very steep. Really, I should explain the principle of gravity one more time. There will be a second video featuring this lathe, and that will be called Moving an Old, Very Heavy Smart & Brown Lathe Down a Steep Drive into Rob's Workshop.
It won't feel good, but it's going. It's not rolling, it's sliding. That's good, keep going.
This job took about 4 hours to get the lathe from its original position to the door, and this is a clip of our very rusty, very old barbecue sat on the ground. The barbecue didn't last long, and in no time at all we were back in the workshop, moving the lathe into a position to allow me to walk through into the workshop to do some work.
That's it, it's going.
I've got it. Jesus.
It's going right direction too. Come on. Come on, again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2.
Wait a minute. This pipe's going to come out the back end.
Well, it's alright, isn't it?
Yeah, but...
No, you need another one.
Yeah, you need something
I've
there.
got one.
No. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Is that it then?
Yeah, don't do it anymore, otherwise
Nice.
the door ain't going to shut.
Right. Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
Keep going. Yeah, keep going till it stops. There you are, it stopped.
Right.
Well, I think that's a good job. You've done a really good job there.
Now in my workshop there is a void where once stood a Smart & Brown Model 1024 lathe. To conclude this video, here's a photograph of myself and my good friend Rob Metcalf after we'd moved the lathe. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it, well, interesting. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website. Click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you will find it very easy to find other videos that you may like to watch.